This morning, House Oversight Republicans laid out a wealth of very easy to understand, nearly irrefutable evidence showing that for years, Joe Biden and his family have taken in massive amounts of money from foreign actors in exchange for political favors. It is standard issue corruption in the purest form. The Biden's influence peddling and how our government has worked to cover it up is quickly becoming one of the biggest political scandals this country has ever seen. Watergate, in reality, had nothing on a scandal like this. But you wouldn't know it because it's so dramatically underreported and marginalized. They make you think you're crazy for making this story a big deal. Republicans dumped their evidence out in a press conference just after 9 o'clock this morning. And guess what else happened just after 9 o'clock this morning? Merrick Garland's DOJ arrested disgraced New York Republican Congressman George Santos. The timing of this arrest, fully intentional, to give the Democrat-controlled media some cover for not reporting on such an explosive story coming from House Judiciary. Here is what the mainstream outlets looked like just after 9 a.m. today as Republicans unveiled evidence of influence peddling from the President of the United States and the First Family.
Meanwhile, embattled Congressman George Santos is expected to turn himself in to authorities as soon as today.
New York Congressman George Santos has been charged by federal prosecutors.
We do have breaking news. The Justice Department has just unsealed the federal charges against New York member of Congress George Santos.
The media is dead. The media is fake. This is collusion between the government and the media. This is how your country now works. Corruption allegations against a Democrat president are ignored. But the arrest of a Republican con artist who has virtually no power, a man who's an outcast even in his own party, and your television and your phone explode. If you care about this country and a free press which holds it all together and keeps the powerful accountable, today should have sickened you. We're losing our country. Those actually willing to talk about Biden's corruption ignore the evidence and say it's all just a MAGA conspiracy theory. Well, here's Congresswoman Nancy Mace from South Carolina. If you know anything about her, she is about the furthest thing from a MAGA Republican.
This could be the most corrupt scheme in American politics where a sitting vice president, where we saw members of his family, 9 members so far, there may be more, that were enriched from countries all over the world.
It's a massive scandal. The allegations made today further prove that the Bidens have gotten extremely rich, selling Joe's influence as vice president at the time to China, Ukraine, Russia, and Romania so far, where Joe Biden in Romania and his family were paid $1 million by a corrupt Romanian oligarch who likely needed Joe Biden's influence to protect him from a corruption investigation by his own government. The corrupt oligarch paying nearly $3 million to Biden businesses, $1 million went straight to the family. So Joe, with the power and purse of America behind him, would tell Romanian leaders to back off. In an ultimate display of shamelessness, while this was going on, Biden actually said this in a speech in Romania.
Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy. Corruption is just another form of tyranny.
He will literally say anything. A morally vacant, dim-witted vice president running around all over the world selling his massive influence, with his son and brother opening up shell businesses as fast as they can to take all of that money in.
You have Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners, RSP Holdings, RSTP2 Alpha, RSTP2 Bravo, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, Rosemont Seneca Bohai. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Bohai, B-O-H-A-I. And the list goes on and on. Whenever there was like this many companies just laying all over the place, and you see wire transfers and cashier checks over here going to random members of the family for no apparent purpose at the size and velocity at which all of this was being conducted, the only logical conclusion of a financial professional is you are concealing money.
And Romania, again, is just one example from just one whistleblower. Comer and House Judiciary have another whistleblower alleging the IRS is slow-walking the investigation into Hunter Biden's alleged tax fraud case, which, again, is very small potatoes compared to what we're really dealing with here. Then we get to Ukraine, and Just the News reporting this week, a former prosecutor approached the DOJ way back in 2018, alleging Biden took money from Burisma Energy in Ukraine, a corrupt company under investigation by Ukraine's government. The company needed somebody powerful to get the government off their back. This would explain why Hunter Biden got $80,000 a month for no reason at all. And you see a theme here. Corrupt people, corrupt companies pay Joe Biden to use his foreign policy influence when he meets with the leaders of other countries that they operate in, because America is very important to all these countries. They'll do whatever Joe Biden says. Hey, leave that crooked businessman alone. He might be paying my son $1 million. Or hey, fire that prosecutor looking into that corrupt energy company in Ukraine.
And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired.
So arrogant, he bragged about it. There's still more. Don't forget about Tony Bobulinski, Hunter's former business partner, who claims Joe Biden was involved directly in putting together big money deals with China. Biden telling Bobulinski, don't mention me by name. These are the Chinese dealings that gave us the infamous 10% for the big guy email. In reality, it's far more than 10%. A text message from Hunter's laptop showing Dad expected half of Hunter's income for years. This is a crime family. And in the run-up to the 2020 election, our intel agencies did everything in their power to install these crooks at the top of the American government. The letters signed by 51 intel traitors, subverting democracy, selling out their credibility to save Biden from very real corruption allegations that would have sank his run for the presidency. We know that. In newly revealed emails, you see former CIA Director Michael Morell saying the more former intelligence officers, the better on that letter. The campaign will be thrilled, Morell said. Another email from CNN's favorite fake intel expert, James Clapper, show him working to reword the letter of lies to make it stronger. Strengthen the verbiage to say classic earmarks of a Soviet-Russian information operation as an excuse for the Hunter laptop. And the intel agencies are still corrupt and protecting Biden. The FBI denying Chuck Grassley and James Comer's request for a document a whistleblower alleging will prove Joe Biden is involved in a pay-for-play scheme with a foreign national for policy decisions. Comer and Grassley writing, while the FBI has failed to produce the specific document by the subpoena deadline, their offer to provide an accommodation process in response to our legitimate request indicates the document is real. So the DOJ says, well, the document's real. We're not going to let you see it. Filthy. The saddest part is the only moral Biden, it would appear, was the Biden who was taken too soon. A Politico article from 2019, back when Joe Biden was just a geriatric primary candidate the left didn't think they wanted, details a moment from back in 2006 of intense greed from Joe's brother James Biden, which enraged the now deceased Beau Biden. A story told by a partner in this fund that they were creating. James Biden made it clear he viewed the fund as a way to take money from rich foreigners who could not legally give money to his older brother or his campaign account. Quote, we've got investors lined up in a line of 747s filled with cash, ready to invest in this company, the executive remembers James Biden saying. At this, the executive recalled Beau Biden, who was then running for Attorney General of Delaware, turned bright red. He told his uncle, this can never leave this room, and if you ever say it again, I will have nothing to do with this. James Biden, Hunter Biden, just a couple losers that don't know how to do anything except extort money out of people because daddy's got power. That was Politico before Joe Biden became president. Before Politico, like the rest of the media, decided to do everything in its power to protect Joe Biden. Here's the headline from that story from back in 2019. You can see it there. It's Biden Inc., they called it. It outlined all of this corruption in 2019, again, when Democrats didn't think they would need Joe Biden, versus how they covered it today is on the right, which was headlined, Comer released Biden family probe update with without showing link to the president. Politico selling its soul Today, Judiciary Republicans begged the media to remember why they are in Washington. Don't slander the First Amendment right to a free and honest press just to appease your selfish political desires.
I would hope that the media here today would put as much attention and interest and focus on this as they have a former president.
I mean, guys, you in the press, this is easy pickings. I'm giving you Pulitzer stuff here. Like, all you have to do is literally look at our memo and see the level of detail upon which they have created this.
All right, Sebastian Gorka joins us now. And, sir, it's good to have you back on. I want to start with Merrick Garland's DOJ timing the arrest of George Santos to create a distraction for the media. And then the FBI refuses to release this document that an intel official for years says will show Biden's corruption as clear as day. I mean, this is astonishing to see.
It is, but first things first, I'll have a word with Chris Ruddy because I want to know if you've got any spare time in your day, Rob, because that summary of the Biden cartel corruption is better than anything Comer said this morning. I mean, what a communications disaster. I mean, they need somebody with your professionalism to actually connect the dots. The DOJ is never going to do anything. We have to get the truth out there the way you did it. In the meantime, they're going after this congressman, actually charging with felonies, the likes of which, if they actually meant it, hundreds of those kinds of felonies could be levied against the whole Biden cartel. Let's be clear, the cartels are profiting from an open border. But the trouble is, we have a cartel right at the top of America, and it's called the Biden crime cartel.
I can't believe that this is how, I think we've learned so much in the last few years about how it really works in Washington. I don't want to sound naive, but I am amazed that this is how it works. I'm amazed that it's that they all just collude together, and there really is this, whatever you want to call it, establishment, this permanent Washington, this entity that controls everything.
Yeah, it's stunning. We have a press conference today about $1 million, $1 million sent by a Romanian corrupt individual who was arrested for corruption to various members of the Biden family. Can we just stop for a second? Hunter Biden's company, Rosemont Seneca, got a $1.3 billion deal after he flew to Beijing with his daddy on Air Force Two. That's where you start. And by the way, how many months has this Congress been in session? Why haven't they subpoenaed Hunter Biden? What are they waiting for, Rob?
It's amazing. And then when you show all of this to anybody in the mainstream press, they say, well, there's no direct connection. And then all the questions that the Republicans got today, well, he's not really directly connecting this to the president, is he? I mean, it's how dense can you possibly be? How intentionally dense can you be to just try and protect the president? Biden's approval rating, despite the media protecting him from all of his allegations of corruption, his approval rating came in at 36% this week from ABC Washington Post. He's getting beaten by Trump in liberal polls in 2024. According to The Hill, with a write-up this week, Democrats are panicked that Biden could lose in 2024 to Donald Trump. Do you think that the DNC is rethinking its choice to go all in on this man?
I think they have from the get-go, but how do you get rid of an incumbent president? Yeah. Very, very difficult. The only way you can do that is if you convince the real power behind the throne, the person who told him he's running again, Jill has to be told to tell him that he has to retire. Otherwise, they can't get rid of him.
Right. It's incumbent president's one thing, but again, I say this is an 80-year-old man that doesn't know where he is. I think this does change things, and I'm still shocked that the DNC is just all in on this, especially now. Sebastian Gorka, always good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. God bless.